Happy Memorial Day. This is Brandon from Galaxydoc Market. Today is May 26, 2025. It's about 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be a holiday shortened week. The title is Stock Market is Getting Bizarre, as you can notice with this ultra sprinting tortoise. And I think that pretty much, I love this picture because it pretty much summarizes the bizarro market that we are involved in. And so we're going to be looking at the technicals to make sense of this bizarre or bizarro stock market. All right, let's get going. Here's the disclaimer. Pause it, read it. If you agree, please move forward. And of course, we are on x.com/Galaxydoc Market. And my shameless plug, thank you for following us here. And this is my primary social media posting area. And I am transitioning really from YouTube into x.com, but I will still continue to post on YouTube. All right, so we talked about the holiday shortened week, and generally those tend to be a sideways grinding to bullish upward movement. However, with the Moody's downgrade last week, we're in that territory where we may see a sharp sell-off, so we need to be watching this. But the other thing is Juneteenth. June 19th is another holiday shortened week that is coming up, so you need to be very, very cognizant of that. And after that, I will stop posting this very, very cute bunny here. So, all right. So, all right. Black swans are everywhere and anywhere. Okay. And so the black swan is that we need to watch the 10-year treasury yield. And there is a worldwide bond yield explosion, or bond Margeddon, or whatever you call it. And I have Trump, WTF, and I have that going on. It's related to his tariffs. And his recent post on Memorial Day, it's just really comical. But really, what the F? Okay, Trump. All right. And then we'll go over the latest developments. The war drum is now sounding again after it went silent for a while, right? The world peace is not world peace at this point. And like I said, the bankers will take you to war, and this is the warning that I'm giving you. And here is posting by Benny Johnson, love or hate him. Basically, he does post something that is very, very interesting here from Donald Trump. I don't follow truth, and so this is the only way to get it. And after placing a EU tariff of 50% due June 1st, he is now postponing it, postponing it to July 9th. Okay, that extension. So much for playing hardball. And this is where the WTF is coming from, apart from also his Memorial Day post. It's pretty comical, but I'm not going to go into that. Realistically, I don't know what the heck's going on. I'm not sure what's going on with his cabinet picks. All the way from FDI to Pam Bondi, they're not doing what they said they were going to do. Not that I'm counting on it, but it seems to me he's lost his way a little bit. All right, so Ursula von der Leyen, president of the European Commission, requested an extension, and so we got to look at why that is. After he's been so gung-ho, I think he lost a lot of credibility here, and it's just all smoke and mirrors. Remember that the market is on the precipice, and we're going to go over why it's on the precipice despite the recent rally, and you cannot trust this rally, and I've been saying that for a long time. And the market has seemed to be rolling over, especially after that Moody's downgrade. And like I said, that Moody's downgrade does not mean that stock market crashes right away, but we are in that time zone. And this is a big one, folks. War drums is beating again. I thought Trump was going to end the Ukraine war. I mean, I had high hopes for that. He talked a big game, but it's not going to happen here, folks. Putin is slamming the West and vows to chokehold them in return. And remember, BRICS coalition, I know they've been quiet and everyone's been basically saying, oh, Trump's got him by the you-know-what. It's not true. Okay, BRICS is a coalition of countries designed to weaken the dollar and against the fiat money system that basically we print out of anywhere and out of nowhere, not anywhere, print out of nowhere and then basically we get our way by threatening sanctions. And so these people are sick of it. I see where they're coming from. Could there be a retaliation coming from the BRICS, especially when they announce, if they announce, I'm not saying when, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that the BRICS currency is a known issue. And then, of course, BRICS precious metals exchange. As you haven't noticed, if you've been under a hole, gold and silver looks like they are ready to break out, and we'll talk a little bit about that, okay, later. So this is a big one. You need to pay attention. This guy doesn't F around, just like Trump, okay, except Trump looks like he's got some handlers, I think. I'm not sure, but then politician is a politician is a politician, okay? I feel like we're all being played, folks. All right, so this is a big one right here, the credit default swaps. Credit default swaps, just real quick without getting into big semantics of it, is a bet against collapse of or default of said debt instrument. In this case, it's the U.S. credit default swaps. And guys, I haven't seen something like this. This is a big deal. I mean, credit default swaps maybe move like this. Okay, this is normal, all right? And so if you go back to like 2009, coming out of 2009 and 2010, right after the financial crisis, everyone was expecting the market to crash. Right now, everybody's expecting the market to crash again. And you don't want to see where the 2008 was. It was through the roof. And it's just 2008 all over again because we are now going parabolic out. And the bond market is smarter than the equity market. And these guys... ignore this at your own peril, okay, folks. All right. If you haven't been listening to 10-year yield or the worldwide bonds, Japanese 40-year yield just go trading like it's Nvidia, okay, while the U.S. stock market enjoyed about 3.5 weeks worth of Trump led rally, right? It's a total Trump pump. Manipulations. Everybody's manipulating everything. In the meantime, we're all scratching our heads. And, and I hate to bash Trump on this, but the fact of the matter is that I voted for the guy. And the thing is that there's something off about the situation at this point. Very, very disappointing. Hasn't fixed anything. He's talking about how the gas prices have come down. No, and here in Arizona, it's gone up like 40 cents since he's been proclaiming that. The inflation is real, all right? And, of course, the Fed, I'm not talking about that in this video, all right? Fed, basically, just remember, and the Fed is nothing more than a for-profit private bank run by foreign nationals that somehow has usurped the power to print money and set borrowing standards. Okay? Period. All right, so we talked about this Moody's downgrade. I think we're coming into that meat of that where I said it would take like 2 to 4 days, maybe a week before the effects of the Moody's downgrade on the credit will happen. The last time in 2023 when that happened, we had a week, and then we had a massive sell-off. It's the same issue with when they basically did this back in 2011 in August, right around that, right into that time, coming into that June, July, August, this is where they do it. It basically, market has been on a rally, and then they announced it and then they fell. All right. We got to pay attention to this, folks. All right. This is a serious issue because, frankly, no one really trusts the American our debt anymore, right? We keep printing money, and I think we're issuing our own bonds and then buying them. But then with Trump exposing some of those NGOs and everything else, Fed's been awfully quiet, haven't they? It's because Fed can't do anything. They can't raise or cut rates. Okay, it's the illusion of power or the illusion of omniscience of the Fed in being able to steward the economy. They're not interested in that. They're trying to hyperinflate out of this debt. That's it. So let's look at some of the market technical pictures. And then so we have been, in greedy. We were at 74 last week. So a little bit of fear. We basically tapered off a little bit. But remember, in the last 4 weeks, we went from extreme fear to almost close to extreme greed. Okay, these are the actions of retail traders. Okay, and for you guys that are basically buying up everything. You know what? They're selling to you. Retail's going to end up being the bag holders again. And I've been warning, but people don't listen. All right. Now, here is why retails are basically bullish as hell. Okay, we're still in a downtrend. They think this tail candle right here is a sign of a bottom, and that we're gonna now go to the moon. The issue is that at every time that we've hit these, we've had these. That tail candle looks very similar to anything that you've seen. Okay, this one looks definitely, but really for this to be valid, you want the head to be down here, right? You really wanted that flush. Okay, and then going up. Nonetheless, you need to pay attention to it. My guess is that we're going to start stalling out here, and we're going to start moving down very, very shortly. Every time people get suckered into these type of tail candles, just like here. This is very similar to what we have going on right here back in 07 and 08. Okay. We're very early in this thing, okay? Nonetheless, we have hit the top end of the range, and we're going to pull back. And this will not be over until we start at least getting into that 380, 360 level. I think we're going a lot lower when the dam breaks, okay? And then on the VIX, we talked a little bit last week. I said VIX is on a full sell signal, but there's divergence in the 50 SMA. And I was advocating everybody to buy these, and we made, our group did very, very well, because now we got, after the sell signal from here, everyone thought we're going lower and that we're going to the moon in the stock market. Guess what? You know what? This is a very, very nice looking inverse head and shoulders, isn't it? Okay, we're moving higher, folks. Okay, VIX is going higher. That's the volatility. It's going to ramp up. This week might be a little slow in the beginning. Okay, so take things with a grain of salt, but we're due. We're in that time frame at this moment. And then my famous and trustworthy McClellan Summation Index last week right up here. I said MSI signaling continued bullish move higher, but then there's divergence is beginning to form on this MACD right here, right? We pointed out the histogram was warning. And basically the RSI was hitting the top end. It just could not get over. This is where we are. We've dropped, okay? And that's a pretty harsh thing, but we got the MACD signal now. Okay, MACD is back in line, and look at this. Not MACD, but the McClellan Summation Index has given a sell signal. MACD is about to form a death hook and a death cross. All right, ignore that at your own peril, folks. Now let's go into gold. Okay, everyone said, and there's a lot of you that was saying, "Oh gosh, it's going to go back down to down into the 2,500. I have had a lot of people saying that, we're going to hit this 2,250, go all the way down into this 1,800 level. And I've gotten a lot of those mails, and I got news for you. Okay, gold is not going away. Neither is silver. They could rig it all they want. They could bring out all their silver and gold slam crew, but the effectiveness is wearing off. Okay, you can only print money to oblivion until people are looking for hard assets that basically is going to retain value, and this is what this is all about. Even Ray Dalio is buying gold, although he's buying the GLD ETF. It doesn't really matter at this point. To each his own. The best place to be in is in physical gold and silver, and if you can't afford that, then it's in the futures market, right? All right, so they found support at 80 and held, and you know what? I don't know if you don't found support, and now we're basically have a nice little candle. We got to break out of this downtrend, and I think we will this week. All right, and so keep eye on gold, and then silver. Man, silver is about as bullish as you can be. This is a long-term cup and a handle. Here's the handle. All right. Some people are saying, "Oh, this is Head and Shoulders," but you know what? It's Head and Shoulders with a higher, higher highs that it's making, and it's basically forming this top. We are above this inflection point. That is very, very important. This has been an area where the slam crew has been slamming. Can they do it? I don't see how they're going to do it, but they've surprised me many, many times. If we get above here and then we start getting above this 35, 37 level, we're going to go. This could be overnight. We're going to be over 60, okay? 65, all right? I'm looking at 68, all right? But it's either you have it or you don't, okay? Silver Slam Crew is failing. Oh, my gosh, those people. How did they sleep at nights, all right? I said there was a rescue in progress last week. This week, that rescue has failed. It tried to get above here, and now we're coming to get above right into this ADMA. This is where it peaked. I said it needs to get above 100. It really needs to get above this 104 level right here, but it's not. What we're doing is really, if you think about it, I mean, this is pretty ominous, right? If you consider this as a long-term head, and then we got the right shoulder somewhere here, coming here. Now we're making that left shoulder. Very compacted shoulders, left and right, with a gigantic head. Looks like all right. Anyways, I'm not going to say it. All right. So, and then the 10-year treasury yield has been rising. Okay. While this looks like rescue in progress, they gapped it down. However, last week, this is where we were. We've shot above, and then they try to manipulate it back down. I think we're going to hit this level, and then we're going to move higher. Regardless, we're making higher lows. All right. And we're above 44. Okay, this means that effectively all banks are insolvent. Okay, they're just pretending to be solvent. All right, so let's see what's going on with the S&P 500 and everything else in between. So let's go look at it. Let's go look at the situation. All right, let's look at the SPY. Okay, SPY. Okay, I think we're failing right here. We got this nice little gap. Can we get above this level? We're in a still nice little downtrend. I think this is it, folks. All right, I think this is over. Okay, this rally is over. It just may take a few days to really start getting impulsive. Here's the SPY on the daily. I mean, if this doesn't convince you, nice rounded top. We got gaps everywhere. We got gaps galore, man. This is going to come down really, really fast. And if you don't believe me, then don't believe me. Okay, but at least I'm telling you what's happening. Okay. All right, we already talked about that. United Healthcare is a gift that keeps on giving. Yes, we are continuing to be short, and everyone thinks we're going to fill this gap and it's going to go higher. United is fraudulent, folks. All right, there's nothing good coming out of United, and for that matter, any other healthcare sectors. Okay, and I know that they've tried to mount a bounce because how could you not when you're down here, and then they're going, oh yeah, but it bounced up. Yeah, that's a pretty decent rally. It's going back down, folks. All right, we've got the CCIs that are flattened out. Let's just look at other things here. CCI is negative. We have a stochastic death crossover. Really, PPO-ADX is forming this. I don't know if you guys see it, but this was the extent of the rally when it's this powerful and close together when it pinched. Now it's forming this type of a situation. Okay, if you look closely, that's what it's doing. That is very, very bearish, folks. And then accumulation distribution. I mean, if you want to talk about a rig job, okay, this was at the that 248, 258 level, and then are you telling me there was that many buyers at once, or was this manipulation? We're coming back down. This is where you short when it's up here, not when it's down here. Okay, all right. Enough of that United Healthcare. All right, real quick, I do want to talk about the weeklies. All right, weeklies chart is a little more bearish, isn't it? We got this black candle. We got this RSI that's basically failed to break out on that recent rally. I mean, look at the MACD. I mean, if that doesn't scare you, and this is basically warning of a crash at this point. All right, enough on United Healthcare. BABA, okay. BABA reported earnings. It was horrific. I mean, they were down a lot, and China has deflationary credit collapse going on. And basically, we failed to break out. We have RSI that's losing momentum. We're coming down. We're coming down. Everything's coming down at this level, okay? All right, look at the CCI. We're coming down right down here. We got the stochastic crossover, and the daily and the weekly are jiving, right? We got this negative formation on the crush indicator on my PPO ADX. When it does this, this is bearish, folks. All right. So we got that going on. We have the accumulation distribution, basically saying that it's topped out. And then, of course, the ATR basically rolling over, right? I mean, what more do you want here? FUTU reports earnings this week. Another Chinese play. All right, this thing is going to go down, folks. Even though you're saying, oh, the MACD is saying that. Yeah, but that MACD is just reflecting here. We got a black candle. We can't break above here. And so, can it go above, pop up after earnings? Yeah, if it does and it stalls here, this is where you short. And if you're a gambler, then you buy some ahead of earnings, because I think this is going to fall all the way down to here eventually, but really 75, 111 to 75. I mean, I'm looking at about a 20% drop at least. Okay. All right, Tesla is Tesla. Tesla, I love Elon Musk lately, but there's some gaps here. Are they gonna fail off of this pivot right here? Okay, or are we going higher? If it goes higher, it's gonna go up to here. However, I do not believe the market is capable of sustaining that. Okay, Apple looks terrible. I've been harping on Apple. As Apple goes, so does that. I've done, so does the stock market. I've done a video on that about 2 weeks ago. Go watch that if you haven't, if you don't know what I'm talking about. All right, Nvidia reports earnings. Okay, Nvidia, SMCI, AMD, they're all like family business, right? Nvidia is pretty easy for the most part. I think we had a little rally. Really, the RSI is not contributing. You can look at these double top right here, or you can say this is the head, and here's the left shoulder, and we're now completing the right shoulder. This is basically about as easy as it gets in terms of going short. Okay, Home Depot. We talked about Home Depot ahead of earnings. Okay, we did very well as a group. Okay, RSI negative. Popped after earning. I said short that pop. If you don't believe me, go watch my couple weeks worth of video. We're going lower, folks. Consumer demand destruction. Absolutely, that's what's going on. All right. All right. So what's going on in terms of? Let me get this crap out of the way. In terms of gold and future market is it's not real right now, partly because the market was closed. But I just want to point out, here's gold, right? Here's silver, all right? Gold, I'm telling you guys that you guys think that somehow gold, okay, was going to go down. It's not. It's just going higher. And if we break above here and we break out above the 34.50, we're going much, much higher. You hit these highs very soon. I mean, it's okay for it to pull back for 2-3 weeks. That's normal behavior, folks. You want to look at silver, really sideways trend. Powers that be don't want to see this thing going higher, but I think really they can rig it all they want. It's just the ensuing rally, even overnight, is going to be epic. Okay. If you guys don't remember when oil went to negative $38 a barrel a few years ago, all right, that kind of move is coming to silver, folks. All right. I just think that the market this is a 1 hour chart on the ES. Like I normally don't go over these except with my group, but ES is really compelling. We're getting this rounded top, right? We had a little rally and we're going here. Really, we got the head region right here. If you look closely, and then you're gonna see this shoulder. Okay, it's coming down. This is all gonna come down. Look at NQ. Okay, this is manipulation. That's the Trump. He always jokes about having the magic wand. Well, he does. Okay, he rigs it just like with the best of them. All right, the VIX is at 20. Okay, look at how fast they manipulated this. But if you caught this, okay, if you had the call, I mean, this was a 10-20x trade. Yes, it's come back down, but here's a gap. Okay, this is the manipulation ahead of the Memorial Day weekend. We're gonna go higher, folks. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so you got more than what you bargained for today. Earnings wise, here's what I like. AutoZone, I think it's going to be horrific. Nvidia, Salesforce, Foot Locker's in trouble. FUTU, we talked about that. Burlington Coat Factory, who shops there anymore? Costco is the disease that just won't die. But I think you can only raise your membership fee so much. Costco, their reckoning is coming. Okay, just keep an eye on this. I'm not necessarily saying you should trade it, but we need to watch it as a barometer. Zscaler and Ulta. Ulta is in trouble. Discretionary spending, anything with consumer demand destruction, I'm very, very bearish on. Okay, so let's look at the XRP, Bitcoin, and XDC. What the hell is going on? All right. So as the market was rallying, Bitcoin and everything, they decoupled from NASDAQ. All right. But really, if we're looking at, and here's Shiba Inu, I like the chart, folks. Okay. I think there's something here. Okay. And since I called it, we're at 14, and I've been saying things around 1180. Okay, I don't talk about the zeros. Like, it's too hard to say 0.0000. Okay, yeah, right. XRP, all right. Despite buying Circle and everything else, despite the fact that there are whales loading up on this, realistically, they don't want you in here. They're trying to shake you out. Okay, go buy more if it pulls back. If God willing, it pulls back. XTZ, XDC here, basically XDC is on sale, folks. Okay, and it's the same thing as XRP. All right, you buy them now. Don't buy them when it's at $10. All right. So that's pretty much it that I'm covering. I'm not talking about Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a monster. All right. Everyone that was shorting Bitcoin, you guys are idiots. All right. So basically, XRP is positioned as reserve bridge asset. XRP quietly purchased USDC Circle. Okay, there's some liquidity event headed our way. Okay, here's the thing: gold and silver looks to be finally breaking higher soon. It looks like the slam crew is not working, waiting for the market to stall and silver breakout. I've been saying that for weeks, and I think it's coming. EU or not to EU? What the fuck, Trump? All right, right. Watch CDS, credit default swaps under U.S. bonds, and the rise of TNX and global bonds. Okay. All right, so post Moody's downgrade, we have to look at the 10-year yield. It's been going nothing but higher. No matter what they do, it's just going to go higher. And Fed doesn't know what they're doing. Okay, watch the world bond yield starts exploding higher. Gold and silver is ready, folks. XRP and Bitcoin has bottomed. Here's me, long gold, silver, VIX, XRP, XDC. Even Shiba Inu. I just won't put it there. There's something there with that. Short watch, United Healthcare, SMC, Alibaba, Costco, Nvidia, AZLDs all report earnings, Home Depot and Apple. Just keep it simple, but you really need to be focusing on gold and silver, really. Okay, don't expect a sudden crash yet. Moody's action historically will impact the market in the next 2 to 3 days. That's what I said last week. Okay, but it looks to be legitimate, and the market is wobbling right now. Okay, don't buy into this thing about the market is great and the economy is great. The economy is not good. I don't know what Trump is smoking. Okay, so be careful this week. As always, thank you for watching this video. Follow me at Galaxydoc Market at x.com. Like us, share us, and if you still follow me on YouTube, please do so. But I think they pretty much shadow banned me there. All right, so thank you and get some alpha. And if you want to work with me or want to join my group, and we have various tiers. And like I said, email me and find out. You'll be surprised. Okay. We have a lot of vibrant activity, and just people are doing good community, doing good work, and some traders that we have balls of steel, and maybe you have them too. That's what it requires to be my group. All right. Anyways, be careful out there, but I think things are getting very, very heated and very close. Be careful, but balls of steel, folks. All right. Bye-bye.